bad, Pastor Lawrence. Now we know what you're doing on Sabbath afternoons.
No, Sabbath morning.
Is that why you're not on Sabbath school?
That's why I don't go to Sabbath school.
Listen, man, I remember I used to play at this place in Scarborough called The Spot. The Spot used to be...
Come on.
The Spot.
The Spot.
As a matter of fact, I don't even know why, but the other day I was on Instagram and I got a notification from The Spot asking me to friend them.
Ah! I did get it in though, but I'm not sure what happened there.
Well, I'm not sure what happened either, but I'm gonna...
The Spot.
What is that? Is that Stripe?
Stripe, yeah. Is that a food place called The Spot?
No, it's a pool place.
Oh,
Used to be like a good place for young people to just hang out.
Just chill, huh? Just chill.
And just chill out. Of course, they had some other things that were happening there in those days.
They had good
but
opportunities.
I'm sure it's no longer that now. Ah! See how I just knocked that in? Stripe. Did I get it in?
It's Stripe. Yeah.
All right, well then there it is. I'm Stripe and you're Solid.
Yeah. But didn't I get one in already?
No, you didn't.
Oh.
You got it in with the white ball as well.
Oh, yes.
So you...
Doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it makes lots of sense. I knew that you were going to do that.
You did? So what are you looking after now? Stripe again? But you're going to reverse and put the white ball back in there. I know you're a good player, but watch this.
Okay. All right.
In my life.
See, I set you up right there.
And I thank you for setting me up. So
Pastor Lawrence,
what do you
man.
call a good opportunity, man. It's like almost getting yourself into silver spoon position.
Silver spoon position.
This time, but not the next time.
And you know, it's interesting. When I first bumped into this sport of pool, it wasn't from anybody in our community.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I had some Asian friends and they used to play, pool and stuff. And so I would go with them. And then of course, because this is Canada, you have a lot of diversity of friendships. And then basically from there, some of my friends really fell in love with it. And I went back to playing basketball.
Yeah.
Well, whenever I would have to play with the pool stick, it just reminded me of times when I used to get licks. So pool for me was very traumatic.
I got introduced to this in the pub,
Really?
Yeah.
In the UK?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't go to drink. I went to just play.
Why did you feel the need to put that?
I said that because I know you're going to say pubs are for drinkers.
No, I was going to say, is that so, feeble tea?
And then, I didn't have any tea. I just said, yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you for setting me up again.
Listen, that's what I do.
That's what you do.
That's my ministry.
Yeah, but I'm going to do something special now. Watch it. Hey, yeah. I am so glad that my Father in heaven tells of his love in the book he has given.
So that's what gets you worshiping, huh?
Oh, did not. Look at that spin. Look at that spin.
You know what? You are becoming my secret weapon.
I know. Weapon of mass destruction.
No, not mass destruction.
Yeah, it is. I'm destroying myself. Yeah.
All right, let's see where
So go ahead.
I got to go forward, right? That's the rule?
Yeah, you got to go forward.
Got to go forward.
It's better to go forward than backwards.
So, Pastor Lawrence.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of people that are...
Is that it?
Of course it's it.
That's a stripe?
Every day, all day.
That looks striped to you? Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad this is getting filmed.
Oh, it's filming?
Yeah, of course.
They're seeing the good opportunities that you got and winning this game.
So, the thing is, Pastor Lawrence,
yes, sir.
A lot of times we talk about this silver spoon thing, the idea that somehow some people are more blessed than others. Let me just put this down for a second. The idea that there are some people who are ahead because of the fact that they've been granted an opportunity to come on this side. Let's talk about it this way, maybe. There are some people that they've been able to do well because they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. But I wonder if that's a cop-out.
I don't know. I can't recall if I've ever had a silver spoon. I guess I have to think about it.
Of course you had a silver spoon. That's what you used to mix your mint tea. Remember we were talking about that the other episode?
No, when I had mint tea, it was just mint tea. Don't put no sugar in it. Don't put any milk in it. That's
so
what I'm trying to tell you.
You didn't need to use a spoon?
No, you don't need a spoon. Well, exactly.
Then why would you need a silver spoon then?
That's what I said. I never had that experience. I mean, maybe, could I? But some people are very fortunate. I mean, there's some people who it's like from the day they were born, everything is going well. I tell you about a friend of mine.
Yeah.
He leaves one job. He goes to another country.
Yeah.
They're firing people,
Yeah.
and he gets two jobs. He takes one.
Yeah.
Spends a few months. He leaves and he comes back to where he was.
Yeah.
And they say, well, you know, we don't have, and he gets another job. And so I call him blessed. I mean, for me, he's a good guy. But I mean, how does he manage to do that?
Yeah, but okay.
Is it a silver spoon? Is it God's blessing? What do you call silver spoon?
But I think it's all of the above. And maybe now, because I don't know your friend, I want to use another example. In basketball, football, you know, some of these highly documented sports, you've got guys who have now left, you know, the ghetto, places where crime and poverty are. And now somebody has signed them up for millions of dollars to catch a ball, to kick a ball, to shoot a ball. And after they retire 10, 15, some of them 20 years later, they have nothing to show for. So of course I'm challenged by that, because I say to myself, maybe sometimes some people are not born with a silver spoon, because even if they had it, they wouldn't know what to do with it.
And I think that is a problem with people who sometimes feel that because they didn't have it, when they get it, they got to make the best use of it. So I've seen some of those guys on TV. They buy this palatial mansion when it's just they're not even married.
Yeah.
You know, they're looking at this. Oh, this is $20 million. This is
$12
$40 million.
12 cars.
And, okay. So they were blessed.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes what we don't realize is that God has blessed us, and we should be thankful and use and be good stewards of our blessings. All right. But I think there are some people who are really, well, they say they're lucky. You know, things happen to them. I mean, I say I never had a silver spoon, but I think of my first job, my first full-time professional job that I had. It was because somebody knew me, who said, apply for this job, and you'll be able to do it. You just need to take an exam, and that's it. And I didn't know anything about the job.
Yeah. And maybe the challenge is, Pastor Lawrence, as I'm thinking about it, right? I mean, we've talked about the silver spoon thing many times, but I wonder if the conversation is the thing that's crippling. Like, it's like, in our context, right? I mean, we are people of the Caribbean by way of Africa diaspora. And at times we talk about the impact of slavery, and please, I don't want to diminish it. What happened in terms of getting in those ships, the inhumane treatment, and of course I want to say this during Black History, we arrive and all of a sudden we've got to start from scratch. I mean, we left there as kings and queens, landowners, business owners, etc. And then we come here and all of a sudden you got to start from scratch with all of the trauma. And yet I say to myself, so much has been made of the silver spoon that at times we don't see the blessing behind working hard. Yeah. But
yes, I agree. We can't diminish slavery. But I think sometimes we dwell too much on how we have been treated.
Think so?
And neglect the opportunities that we could have used. Because there are some people who have done very well. I mean, there are people who have been, they've had rough experiences. But they use every opportunity they got to develop. And, people often say, well, you got a chip on your shoulder. I asked one guy, what does that really mean? Because I've grown up in a society where I've seen Black people leading. All right, so I know that. I've lived in countries where Black people are in the positions of leadership. But then I've lived in countries where I see few Black people in leadership, and then they sometimes don't feel that they can approach somebody about a job because they're a different color or a different ethnicity, and they feel kind of pushed back. But amazing how some of those same people who we think have kept us down have opened up opportunities for us because they see something in the person. I think the Bible is right when it says that a man's gifts or a woman's gifts make room. So we have to use those gifts as well. But we can't negate the fact that there are people who've tried to push us down.
So what do we do then? I'm thinking about South Africa. That's what comes to mind for me. We know that there's been a lot of civil unrest because a lot of the native folk that are there, they are watching some of the individuals that came in and have literally captured the land of their parents. You know, we often talk about it, excuse me, in terms of forefather, right? No. We have people in South Africa where literally 60 years ago, this was their land, right? They still have the stones over there where grandma or grandpa were buried. And what I'm hearing you say, maybe, maybe not, is they need to get over the fact that somebody has now stolen their land and move forward because what's in the past is in the past. But you know, it's different, right? Because I think everybody can agree, those of us that are in North America, especially those that come here by way of the Caribbean or by way of Africa, etc., this is not necessarily our home. We've made it our home, but this is not necessarily our home. But what happens when somebody steals the silver spoon out of your mouth in your home in a culture that is heavily steeped in honor and shame? And people are not just going to get over it because, well, life goes on. They're saying, part of the honor that I give back to my parents, my family, is to go back and get that land where grandma and grandpa are buried underneath that tree.
Yeah, but how are you going to do it? How you go about it is important, though. It's because I think sometimes we resort to violence. All right, we've got to fight and get it. Now we need to realize that even some of the people who oppressed us, and enslaved us, they've turned around and realizing that we did the wrong thing, so we've got to do something to help people out. Now some people do that. Some are helping. You know, some are still steeped in their racism and so on. So we need to try to find those who are like minded and try and work with them to get to where we want to get to, right? Because we need to see how we can build on that. Now I think we also need to bear in mind that I am one person who believes that the past is the past, even though it affects you in the present.
Okay,
but you got to somehow be able to rise above it.
But now you've pushed one of my buttons.
Yeah, I know.
And this is the button that I'm stuck on, and I'm trying to get past it, but I just don't know how. Maybe you can help me. You have lots of experience, lots of journeys. The reality is, at times we say move along, but the systemic policies don't allow for progress. So, you know, like sometimes people say, oh, just pull yourself up by the bootstrap.
Yeah, not easy.
I don't know if I go along with that. You know, I remember when I first went to a university in Toronto. I won't name it because the person's not here to, you know, put their side to it. But I know for a fact that one of my professors, he was out for me. I walked into that class, and the way that he gave me the once-over, and in those days I was young, I was a teenager, 19-year-old guy, you know, big baggy pants, big shirt. I mean, that was the look. I walked in there, and he never gave me better than a C. And there was one assignment that one of my classmates who couldn't understand because I was helping them out to get A's, they couldn't understand how I was getting a C. And the reality is that sometimes it's hard to get over stuff because the system or the systemic racism and policies, there isn't a name. Like there's no office for it. There's not a place where you can go in and say, hi, Mr. President, I'm here to deal with this challenge.
But then you see, talking about people who put you down, or sometimes, I think sometimes there are people who think that they are being pushed down. No, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. I was talking just yesterday. And he was talking about a guy who we know who's been in high society and big positions. And he tells me that this guy didn't like him. And I said, no, I can't believe that. I said, that guy's wife and my wife, you know, we're good friends. I mean, we're talking about black and a white situation here, right? But I said, if I see this lady and my wife is not, how's your wife? And she's my wife, she hugs and kisses. This guy, he says this guy doesn't like black people. I said, I didn't get that.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Can I just say this? And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to say this because sometimes we often forget the privilege that comes with us based on who we are. So you're a pastor.
And so is this guy.
You're a theologian.
And so is this guy.
You've been a department head.
And so is this
guy. You've been in the conference office, etc. And I'm only talking about the church experience. So sometimes, here's what I know. That there are privileges that come along to us that another person in the same circumstance, they don't get the door opening.
But see, this guy I'm talking about, he's had all those same positions that I've had.
So then what's his hang up then?
So that's my question. Because, but you see, I've had the situation where I've had, like, say, a white pastor in my church on a Sabbath. He comes from a conference department office. And I go to his office on Monday morning and he's calling me the wrong name.
Wow.
And he entered in my house that Sabbath afternoon for lunch.
Wow.
And then he says, "Oh, I didn't recognize you outside of your territory." So I said, "Well, I recognize you. How come you recognize me?" All right.
Yeah.
So that, and there are some people who are really racist. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But you see, the thing about the racism thing, and I know we're getting into that.
Yeah.
It's not just on the white side, and it goes both ways. And
does it really though?
It does.
See, because Pastor Lawrence, this, you know, I was just having the conversation in the barbershop before I got here, and it was a heated conversation because I don't know that it's the same thing. Because here's the thing, in many of our situations, we don't have the capacity to hire and fire. We are in there as a part of the production thing, but we're not necessarily business owners to say, I can tell you, you know what, don't come back tomorrow. So what happens is now is that when we have our own internal conflict, it's not racialized. There may be a difference that we may have between one another, but it's not going to be because I have a problem with you as a black man.
Yeah, but listen to this.
Okay.
You know, we lived in Liberia. I'm coming out onto the main road. This taxi driver hits my car because he wasn't looking. I get out and I said, "What's happened?" He said, "You're wrong." And all the people around said, "Listen, you hit the man's car. You're wrong." And then he says to them, "Whose side are you on? Mine or the foreigners?"
And then the conversation changes.
Because now I am a foreigner, black as he is.
But there are some unspoken rules though.
Yeah.
But there are.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that in the community. I mean, you go into certain communities as an outsider, you'll never be let in because you're the other.
Yeah. And the same other thing comes when you look at the
No,
different
because
races.
there's policy.
No.
That's the difference.
Even without that. You know, because
But there is policy.
There are some policies, yes. But here's the thing.
Okay.
Some people are basically racist. They've been brought up that way. It's ingrained in them, and so on and so forth. Some people get out of it as they're educated, as they travel, they learn. Some people still have something innate that, you know, they'll say, "Well, I don't mind you, but I don't like, you know, you're okay, but." All right. No, that I take exception to that as well, because I think you're a friend of some people.
Sure.
But you can't say, I don't like black people, but you're okay.
But Pastor Lawrence, let me give you a prime example. Some of the people groups, and we're now talking about Ontario, Canada, Toronto more specifically, this is where we're stationed. They can go from Monday to Friday with a tie. The weekend comes, they got their Raptors hat. That's what I was looking for because I know I wore it with me today. The weekend comes and they can tilt their hat off to the side, turn it backwards, take as many pictures on Instagram, and still go back to being a CEO.
Yes.
In our community, we can work hard from Monday to Friday in many cases. On the weekend, we let our hair down. We're a very celebratory type of culture. But on Monday, what I was seen doing throughout the weekend can now cost me when I go back to my job.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, if I can, I think personal stories are good. I remember I was working somewhere, and in those days, twisted hair was in. And in those days, I had more hair.
You did?
I had more hair.
I've never seen you hair on your head.
That's fine. I mean, it was before those days too. And I remember I went into the office with my twisted hair. I mean, it was freshly done. The manager that had promoted me, halfway through my shift, here's what she says to me. "You don't look like what I hired."
Oh. Yeah.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Now, as a young man, I begin to feel very uncomfortable because I know she's saying something under what she's saying. Needless to say, because I needed the job, here's what I did.
Take it out.
I took it out. I changed my hairstyle. And here's the thing. Most races don't have to deal with that. And I'm not saying that my situation is the only one or this is the majority of the time, but because of microaggressions, there are so many things that we have to navigate and change and do in order to get to a point where we even understand what it means to have a gold spoon. Do you remember what President 44 said when LeBron James tried to tell something about politics? He said to him, shut up and just dribble the basketball.
Because some people are uneducated. Some people don't understand what life is all about. You see, but I think one of the problems that I find is that we're not always willing to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
All right. And so some people would be in their mindset, they have this thing about what people should be or should do, how the hair should be. If they get a chance to talk about it, if they get a chance to dialogue, they may learn something.
Sure.
You know, but they're not willing to do that, and that's a challenge, I think. With good one. I like
so
it.
Pastor Lawrence,
So there's no
since
silver
we're
spoon.
pastors,
Yeah.
don't you think we have the responsibility of really contextualizing what it means to have the gold spoon or the silver spoon?
Yes,
Is that our job?
I think yes, we do have that responsibility because we're mentors, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we're people who are there to set some kind of a tone of how things should be. We should help people to come above where they are.
And trumpets for God too, right?
Yes, yes. Because you know, we have to let people know that you may be born in a certain situation, but you don't have to stay there.
Right.
Yeah. But how you get out of it is what's going to be important too.
And maybe we also have to be honest too, Pastor Lawrence. Because of the life that we live, there are some people that will never get out of the hole in this lifetime. There are some who will never.
That's in the hole, boy. That's in the hole, man.
And that's also a stripe, which is my number. Point and
that's
case.
yours?
Yeah, that was mine. I'm striped.
Oh, look at
It's
that.
okay.
You see, I thought I was born with a silver spoon right now, boy. That just turned into a bronze
So
spoon.
maybe the thing is, Pastor Lawrence, maybe we don't want to have the conversation that says we will never have the gold or silver spoon.
Yeah.
And maybe we don't want to always say that we need to have the golden spoon. But I think we also have to be aware that there are policies, there are laws that make it difficult for the other to not just get into the room, but stay in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we should just talk about it.
Yeah.
And at least we've started the conversation today.
We've started. And
All
it
right.
needs to continue in big ways.
Go ahead. You get the last shot.
How comes I put that in?
Because I think that you forgot which one was your ball.
I'll just put this one in too.
Yeah, you better make sure you get it in or else. Ah.